There are people in our lives who test us. People who speak with harsh words, act with little regard, or carry so much pain that it spills out onto others. We call them difficult, but the Buddhists saw them differently. Not as enemies, not as burdens, but as teachers. Teachers of patience, of compassion, of our own inner work. To walk the path of inner freedom is not to surround ourselves only with the gentle and the kind. It is to remain open even when it hurts. To stay soft even when the world grows sharp. To understand even when we are not understood. Because in truth, the most difficult people are the ones who awaken something deeper within us, if we let them. 1. The nature of difficult people. What makes someone difficult? Often, it's not who they are, but how we relate to them. A harsh word, a cold look, a selfish act. We feel judged, unseen, disrespected. And so, the mind closes, the heart tightens. But Buddhism invites us to pause and look again. The Buddha taught that everyone is shaped by causes and conditions, just like us. No one becomes difficult without a story of suffering behind them. A wound, a loss, a fear, an unmet need. When we recognize this, we begin to see the person not as a problem to fix, but a being to understand. 2. The mirror of the mind. Difficult people reflect our inner world back to us. They touch our wounds, expose our impatience, unveil our expectations. And this can be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not the enemy. It is a doorway to awareness. The Buddha often said that mindfulness begins with noticing what is, not what we want things to be. So when someone triggers us, it's an invitation. What is this feeling? What does it reveal about me? Where does it hurt? When we turn the gaze inward, the difficult person becomes a teacher. Not because they're right, but because they remind us to stay grounded, to stay aware, to come back to the breath when our thoughts spiral, to come back to compassion when our heart wants to shut down. 3. The practice of compassion. In Buddhism, compassion, karuna, is not sentimentality. It is a powerful courage. It is the willingness to stay with suffering without turning away. When we meet a difficult person with compassion, we are not excusing their actions. We're choosing not to multiply the suffering. We are saying, I see your pain, and I will not add mine on top of it. This is not weakness. This is strength. True compassion includes boundaries, but it does not include hatred. Think of compassion like a mountain. Firm, rooted, unshaken, but offering shelter to those who wander through storms. Compassion does not mean we allow harm, but it means we respond, not from ego, but from understanding. 4. The roots of behavior. Every difficult person was once a child, once innocent, once open, but somewhere along the way they were hurt. Maybe neglected, maybe told they weren't enough, maybe never loved properly. So they learned to harden, to lash out, to survive. This doesn't justify unkindness, but explains it. And when we understand the roots, we begin to soften. We stop asking, what's wrong with you? And begin asking, what happened to you? The Buddha understood that suffering is the root of all unskillful actions. Anger, jealousy, greed, they all rise from pain. So when we see someone act with cruelty, we remember this is a symptom of suffering. And the appropriate response to suffering is not punishment. It is compassion. 5. Compassion is not agreement. Let's be clear, compassion is not the same as agreement. You can say no with compassion. You can walk away with compassion. You can disagree, distance, and set boundaries, all with compassion. The difference is how you do it. From peace, not from revenge. From wisdom, not from pride. From presence, not from pain. This is the middle way the Buddha taught. Not indulgence in anger. Not suppression of feeling, but skillful response, rooted in awareness, guided by loving kindness. 6. Loving those who don't love you. One of the most profound practices in Buddhism is metta bhavana, the cultivation of loving kindness. We begin by offering love to ourselves, then to those we love, then to strangers, and eventually to those who are hardest to love. Not because they deserve it, but because we deserve peace. Holding on to hatred keeps us tied to the very people we wish to be free from. Compassion sets us free. Letting go of resentment is not forgetting what happened. It's choosing not to carry it any longer. It's saying, I release you from my mind because I value my own peace more than holding on to this pain. This is not passive. This is powerful. 7. Transforming through compassion. The beauty of this practice is not only that it helps others, it transforms us. When we meet hatred with love, when we meet insult with silence, when we meet misunderstanding with clarity, something in us shifts. We become the mountain, the stillness, the peace. We are no longer tossed around by the storms of others. We remain whole, unbroken, free. This is what the Buddha meant by liberation. Not escaping the world, but being free within it. Free to love those who cannot love. Free to walk away from what is toxic without bitterness. Free to protect our peace without building walls of pride. 8. When it's hard to feel compassion. There will be days when you can't feel compassion. Days when someone's words sting too much. When their actions feel too cruel. That's okay. You don't have to force anything. Just pause. Breathe. Notice what arises. Offer yourself the compassion first. The Buddha never asked us to be perfect, only present. If you cannot offer compassion to another yet, offer it to yourself for not being ready. Even that is part of the path. The intention to understand, the wish to heal, the effort to stay open. These are all seeds of awakening. And with time, they bloom. 9. The ripple effect. Every act of compassion creates ripples. A soft word to someone in pain. A refusal to gossip. A decision not to retaliate. You may never see the impact it has, but it matters. And sometimes it softens the very person you thought would never change. Other times, it simply frees you. And that is enough. The Buddha once said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. When we choose compassion over conflict, we break the chain. We become a sanctuary in a world that forgets how to be kind. We become the healing we wish to see. 10. Final reflections. So if there is someone difficult in your life right now, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself not, how do I fix them? But what can I learn from this? How can I respond with wisdom, with boundaries, and still with compassion? Let them be your practice. Let them reveal where you still hold pain, where you can grow. And then bless them silently. Not because they deserve it, but because you are free enough to offer it. In the end, compassion is not something we give to others. It is something we become. And when we become it, even the most difficult people cannot take our peace away. The ones who challenge your heart the most are the ones who polish it until it shines.